see, it was an interesting trip. And you have that group. But I will tell you, it's so neat to take these kids places like that, because it's just so wonderful, because people always come up to me and tell me how great a group, young men and women these are. And they are. They did awesome. No complaints. They just went and did, and jumped in and worked hard. I really appreciate Candy, was the adult that went with me, and she had to show out a little bit on the roller rinking. She had more skills than the kids, for sure. I stayed away from those.
Wise choice.
Yeah. That floor couldn't have taken it. But it was really neat to see our kids just work so hard, and God use them in such a neat way. And I'm just amazed every year, because I sit back and think, I'm not telling these kids where we're going, and they still sign up to go. They have no idea most of the time. Sometimes they kind of figure out close, or sort of. They don't always know what we're doing. If I try to do that with adults, it'd be me and the bus. Jay go.
I'll go if you tell me where we're going.
Blake and Jay would go because they knew we'd stop and eat somewhere. But it's just amazing to me that they're willing to do that. And that's one of the reasons I keep it a short trip. But it is one of my favorite things we do, because not only that, there is a lot of bonding, as they said. But I'm just so proud to be their youth pastor, because it really is just a blessing to see them and see some of as the younger ones are coming up and doing these things with us for their kind of tradition, kind of starting their own traditions within the youth group. It is really neat. Tonight, I want to look back at Luke 19. We looked at Zacchaeus' story this morning. I want to look at there's a parable right after that. And I know I'm going to, in more ways than one, I'm preaching to the choir tonight. Choir practice. But I'm more and more convinced that as a society, as in the church in general, okay, I'm not talking about just Grace Baptist. I'm talking about the broad spectrum of the church. We're less and less Bible literate. Do y'all agree with me on that? And I think one of the reasons is people are intimidated by the Bible sometimes. Or not necessarily intimidated, but they don't necessarily know how to study it. They don't understand how the Bible is different than reading a Ted Baker novel, or a Harry Potter book, or a biography on JFK. You know what I mean? They treat it. Maybe they treat it more like a textbook from school, where you just look at, hey, what was that chapter on how plants reproduce, or something like that. We treat it not like it's one story, and when we take it in little sections, like it's. This is such a bad analogy, but like the bathroom books that just have like little sections for you to read in a short time, okay? And I have one with coaching quotes, okay? So it's just little snippets. And we treat the Bible a lot of times like we're just reading some motivational quotes, and that's all we're looking for. But when we study the Bible, especially when we get down into the Gospels, the story is connected so well. And if you read the Zacchaeus story, and that's all you read, you're missing out on the whole scope of what's going on during this time. Because really it continues in these verses we're going to look at tonight. If you read just the Zacchaeus story, you don't read this, you're missing the whole teaching Jesus made there. Okay? And really, you start looking back at chapters 18 and everything. But remember, we ended with verse 10 this morning says, for the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. In verse 11, it says, as they heard these things, he proceeded to tell a parable, because he was near to Jerusalem, and because they supposed that the kingdom of God was to appear immediately. Now, once again, I'm reading out of the ESV, and when the ESV is talking about the crowd, the people, it's the day. Okay? I talked about it this morning. The people. Okay, we're pretty sure the disciples are in that day, but then the crowd gets involved too. And then there's other people. We're not really told exactly who it is necessarily, but the disciples are included, and that's kind of the point I want to make. These are the people that are following Jesus around, that are trusting Him the most. Okay? These are the pillars of the first church. Okay? This is Peter. He's going to preach the first Christian sermon. Okay? This is guys that almost every one of them are going to be martyred for their faith. And here they are, and it says, they heard these things, and Jesus said, he proceeded to tell a parable because he was near to Jerusalem. So he's getting ready to go to Jerusalem to die. So Jesus is like, all right. Think about it. This is the teacher getting ready for the big test at the end of the year. Okay, this is it. It's about to happen. I'm about to go. I'm about to leave it to y'all. You need to start getting this. And because they supposed that the kingdom of God was to appear immediately. Once again, we talk about it a lot when we talk about this. The people at this time, many of them wanted the Messiah to be a great earthly king, to come in, to kick the Romans out, and take over. And Jesus is realizing that they're not getting this. And so he has a parable that he's going to try to teach them more about it. Verse 12. He said, therefore, a nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and then return. Calling 10 of his servants, he gave them 10 minas and said to them, engage in business until I come. Now, this was a normal practice, okay, at this time. The Romans would give land and give areas for people to kind of take over, to governor, to be to lord over, okay? And when they would do that, they would send a nobleman, the wealth, usually a prominent, wealthy leader. They would have to go and get their kind of training and their marching orders. And so they would have to leave. This was a normal practice, somewhat normal practice for those that were around these noblemen. Okay? And so Jesus says, well, a certain nobleman is getting his kingdom. And so while he's gone, he gets 10 of his servants, and he gives them 10 minas. Now this 10 minas is about 100 days wages for a day labor. Okay, at that time. So it's about 100 days worth of, and a lot of you got to remember they're walking on these trips or riding animals or whatever. So it's probably going to take him 100 days to go and get back to be there. Okay. Now we got to get what he says here. He says, engage in business until I come. So what's he telling them? keep everything rolling. Like it's normal. We got to keep it rolling. Keep the business going, property going, livestock, whatever it is they're doing. If they're buying, selling land, just keep it rolling. Verse 14. But his citizens hated him and sent a delegation after him, saying, we do not want this man to reign over us. So this guy has a problem, right? His constituents weren't happy with his work. They weren't happy with him as a leader. Verse 15, when he returned, having received the kingdom, he ordered these servants to whom he had given the money to be called to him, that he might know that they had gained by doing business. So while he's gone, his workers are hearing this from the people, right? They're hearing they don't like him. They're hearing that he's unfair, that he's unjust, all these different things. And so then he comes back, and this is time to face up. What did you do with the money I gave you? Did you continue to do business? Did you continue to do what you're supposed to do? Verse 16, the first came before him saying, Lord, your mina has made 10 minas more. And he said to him, well done, good servant, because you have been faithful in very little. You shall have authority over 10 cities. And the second came, saying, Lord, your minas have made 5 minas. And he said to him, you are to be over 5 cities. And then another came, saying, here is your mina, which I kept laid away in a handkerchief. Now this is familiar, once again, the familiar parable. We also have the parable of the tenants elsewhere in the gospel. Sorry, the talents, not the tenants. I have most of the right letters in that word. And a parable, of course, is a teaching that's, sometimes uses a real example or a real life example to teach a lesson. Now, who is, in this one, who's the nobleman? It's represented of Jesus. But wait. Verse 14, but his citizens hated him and sent a delegation after him, saying, we do not want this man to reign over us.
That's Jews. That's Jews.
Jews. His citizens, his people, are rioting and wanting to get rid of him as a leader. It's one of those, you look back and you think, how did the disciples not get it? But then we look back on our life and how many times do we not get it? So it's tough to be hard on them. But here, Jesus is telling them pretty much what Jerusalem's going to look like here in a few weeks, here in a few days. Okay? He's pretty much telling them, we're going to get to Jerusalem, and the people that are supposed to be my people are going to want to get rid of him. And they're going to think, I'm worth following. And then there's going to be a time when they're going to have to answer for that. Now, when is the time that they're going to answer for that? What do you think? You think this is an immediate time? Or do you think this is talking about a future time?
Future.
Future?
When he comes back.
Okay. Anybody disagree with that?
Well, you say 70 places destroyed. The Jews are scattered. They're going to suffer judgment then.
I think some would maybe say that it's a possibility. Because there's some that say that God come. But yeah, I tend to agree with Tammy, though, that it's probably talking about the future. Because this parable, this teaching, is a pretty interesting one because it's like several times in the Bible, but this is one that's an immediate teaching that the disciples and the followers, the people that are following around during this time, that they need to get, that they need to understand, okay? But it's also for the future. And it's also for us, far in the future, to get and to understand. Which is, in a lot of ways, a warning. So he gives these workers, these servants of his, these minas, and tells them to keep working. Right? And so then they come to him, and the one that had 10, he's done good with his. And the one with 5, he's done good with his. And then there's the one. What did he do with his? Put it in his handkerchief. Look at verse 21. For I was afraid of you, because you are a severe man. You take what you did not deposit, and reap what you did not sow. He said to him, I will condemn you with your own words, you wicked servant. You knew that I was a severe man, taking what I did not deposit and reaping what I did not sow. Why then did you not put money in the bank? And in my coming, I might have collected it with interest. Now, let's talk about this third servant. Is this third servant a Christian?
I think so. Because to me, he knew who Jesus was, and Jesus gave him, I don't know, maybe I have this wrong, but I'm thinking minas, whatever they're called. I'm thinking that's kind of like the truth, the gospel. I'm giving it to you. What you can do with it. You share it. You're going to grow my kingdom, or you're just going to hide your heart. So
I would definitely say that was a good explanation of what the minas are. But is this guy a believer or not? Tammy says thinks he is.
This is very much in the case.
He says he's going to be judged by his own words. In Revelation, those that are not saved, how are they judged? Are they good deeds? By their actions.
I don't understand how it says you take up what you did not lay down and you reap what you did not sow. I don't understand.
What do y'all think about that? That's an interesting. That's the next thing I was going to bring up. This guy talks about the nobleman, the Lord here, in kind of a rough way, right? He says, I was afraid of you because you're a severe man. You take what you did not deposit, you reap what you did not sow. Who's the nobleman? Jesus. So how do we explain that?
Sounds like the slave has the wrong idea of who Jesus is, what his mission is.
Once again, it's all connected. Look at the Zacchaeus story. What would people think about him hanging out with the sinner? What did Jesus say his whole job was? Seek and save the lost. And then here he gives a parable about, he gives them the minas, tells them to keep working. What's the work? Tammy said earlier. It's building the kingdom, sharing the gospel. The other two kept it going. They did it. One did a little more than the other, but they still did it. And here they're missing it still. And Jesus is teaching on what happened. These are the same people that were griping about Zacchaeus. Okay? Why is he hanging out with that sinner? And Jesus is telling him, look, this is the job I gave you. And you're taking it, and I'm giving you everything to do it, and you're taking it and you're doing nothing with it. You could have at least put it in the bank and got some interest on it, but no, you just hide it. And he's telling the Jewish people, look, I've given it to you, and you're wasting it. And because you're not accepting it, and because you're not seeing the Messiah, the nobleman, Jesus for who he really is, has come to seek and save the lost, and not just to come and condemn everybody but the Jews, you're going to be judged, and it's not going to be good. He's laying it on hard here.
The reap which you did not sow, could that be the Gentiles? Because they weren't supposed to,
Well,
I kind of understand what the correlation is there.
Well, I think the main thing that Jesus is trying to get across here is that this third servant doesn't know the master. He doesn't see what he's doing.
He portrays Jesus as
Exactly.
a horrible man, a cruel man, a thief, basically.
And what are the people going to do in Jerusalem when they get into Jerusalem?
They're going to treat him like a thief, a criminal.
They're going to treat him exactly like a criminal.
Gotcha. Okay, never mind.
This is a hard one. This one's a little, to me, this one's a little tougher than the parable of the talents to grasp because of this. Because this guy does talk about Jesus, and Jesus isn't necessarily correcting him. Because you know what? To some people, sometimes God looks mean, doesn't he? You ever hear, why would God? And if you don't really understand who God is, if you don't understand the holiness with the love, then you miss it. You know, at Destination Unknown, one of the workers we got to meet there, a guy named Buck, one of the nights we were sitting around after eating, and Candy got in a conversation with him, and she was asking him some really, I think she sort of sensed that Buck wasn't, well, I think she sensed he wasn't a believer, but I think she sensed he was struggling spiritually, and she started asking him some really good questions. And I jumped in one time and was talking, and like mine went nowhere. And I knew, okay, God's using Candy on this. I'm going to shut up and let her go. And she got to know Buck a little bit about just his history with the church and with God and everything. And then when we got back, I got a text from Buck. And he said, hey, I really enjoyed our conversation. It really made me think. And would love to talk to you sometime if you'd like to call. So I called him that next day and was talking to him a little bit. And this is a guy who's retired military, just a really neat guy. He was going to the grocery store that's next to this ministry center. He saw something going on there. He said, hey, what's that? Well, they help needy people. Well, he didn't have anything to do. He had been divorced a couple years before that. And so he just showed up and started helping. And now he's the right-hand man helping run the place. But he's not a believer. And he said, they asked him, I was talking to him, he said, I think I can do good stuff, and it doesn't have to be, because of a faith I have or something. And I said, well, that's right, you can do good stuff. I said, but there's a difference. I said, the Red Cross does lots of good things. But what y'all do, and what Robert does at Healing Waters, is you offer something more. You offer something with salvation tied to it, with a commitment to Christ. The Jews really liked Jesus in some ways, at times, because he had power, because people followed him. And sometimes when we see Jesus and we see God, we like some things about him. And we really like the love part. fact that God is love, but God is holy. And sometimes it's tough to follow God. And sometimes it's tough to understand what He's doing. Because God sees the big picture. He sees the whole timeline. The timeline that doesn't end. And we see this little bit of it. And sometimes we wonder. But God tells us, and Jesus is telling His followers here, to keep working. Keep serving. Keep building the kingdom. Because that's what we're called to do. And when we get focused on other things besides that, those become idols. Those become, we become the guy with the handkerchief, keeping the talent in that instead of using it for what God's given us to use. God's gifted each of us spiritually with spiritual gifts and abilities to serve Him. And that's what we're supposed to do as a church, to build the kingdom. When we focus on anything else, we're not seeing the Master for who the Master really is. We're like this third guy. We're like the people that were Zacchaeus, instead of being the people like Jesus. Or my little extra character from this morning, Billy, who introduces Jesus to those who need Him. You know, this section of Scripture, you know, the disciples, the followers of Jesus at this time were kind of, a little surprised. They're getting a lot of teaching. It's kind of probably weirding them out a little bit. And they're really going to be shocked several days after this when they gather together in an upper room. And they're going to get together to have the Passover. And it's going to be different that night. Because for one thing, they're going to walk in and the Master is going to be washing their feet. And it's not going to be right, especially Peter, we know. He says, wait a second. It's not your job. It's not your job. And Jesus says, if you don't let me do this, and Peter said, watch the rest of me too. And then Jesus brings the bread and the cup, and He explains it in a totally different way. He does a lot of the traditional stuff, but all of a sudden it's got new meaning that night. So tonight we remember that. As we take the bread and the cup, we remember that we serve a God of love. That is a God of love. The God that sits down with Zacchaeus. And just by spending time with Him, his whole life's changed. But we also serve a God that's holy. And that will judge. And because we know that judgment's coming, we got to work. And we got to take what He's given us and do something with it. So as we think about this tonight, the whole reason we can do that is because Jesus gave His body and He gave His blood. So anytime we take the Lord's Supper, we have to look at ourselves, test ourselves, and allow God to search us. And look at us and how are we doing with that? Are there things within us that we need to get right with God? If you would, bow your head and close your eyes. Gentlemen, if you come forward, they're going to serve.